Hi guys, I welcome you all to the new lecture in our anthropology series. Yesterday we had started structuralism, and we had already studied about Claude Lévi-Strauss and his ideas. So a very small topic I would say in structuralism is also Edmund Leach. So I did not complete it yesterday. So we'll do the contribution of Edmund Leach plus the whole evaluation and criticism of the structuralism school. And yes, so let's get started. First of all, I would want to give you the brief overview of what we did yesterday, because Edmund Leach is one person who is going to build a lot on Claude Lévi-Strauss's ideas, right? So basically we were talking that Claude Lévi-Strauss said that society or structures, basically he was a lot concentrated, his ideas were a lot concentrated on the social structures, how the structures are built, and according to him the structures were the products of mind. They are the product of mind, much like other products of mind like language, totem, myths, right? So this was also the philosophy or methodology he used to understand the product of mind. And when he did the whole understanding of all these language, totem, myths, all of that, so he saw one similar thing, or you can say psychic unity, that is there in all the cultures, which is the binary opposition or the duality of mind, right? So he saw that these concepts of contrasts are there in every society, and these product of mind, these are abstract things, they are in the subconscious mind, हमारे unconscious mind में होता है या subconscious mind में these structures are built, and they have a universal property of binary opposition, right? So all this was what basically Claude Lévi-Strauss was talking about. So when we go to Edmund Leach, right, he was a person who did not give a very theoretical part में, he did not give any theory and all, ठीक है? So theoretical part was similar to structuralism, जो basic concept was given by Claude Lévi-Strauss, it was the same. However, he built a lot on the evidential parts, you can say. So evidences थे ना जो, the evidences of bringing out these binary oppositions to support the theory of Edmund Leach. He did a lot of those things. That means he studied a lot of cultures, he studied them through folk stories, religious stories, fairy tales, ठीक है? This was his principal subject matter. Subject matter means these were the basic fodder for his theories, right? So he studied them a lot, and he also believed that there was a certain underlying universal human structure. So he also believed that कुछ एक underlying human structures तो होते हैं दिमाग में, and these are the binary oppositions, much like what Claude Lévi-Strauss was saying. He was also saying that these binary oppositions are universal, and even Edmund Leach believes the same. So he gave the example of, like, not he but the example of Cinderella we can take. उसमें क्या होता है? Cinderella is a story about good versus the evil, right? So that is what it is, that whether these are the fairy tale stories or religious stories or folk stories, these binary oppositions will come. So that means this duality of mind, for example, our group versus their group, right? We versus us, we versus others, right? Day versus night, black versus white. So these all the kind of binary oppositions are there in every culture, they exist, but of course you have to understand those binary oppositions in their own understanding. That means you cannot study them with a very ethnocentric view, ठीक है ना? एक society में क्या binary oppositions हैं, how they behave, for example इसमें आप जल्लीकट्टू का example ले सकते हो, right? What is Jallikattu? Jallikattu is a festival जिसमें आप या any other festivals like bull fighting हो गई, right? Cock fighting, there are cock fighting things, ठीक है? तो इसमें then there are what एक अमेजमेंट का, एक फेस्टिविटी का फ्लेवर है, ठीक है. एंड देन देर इज क्रिमिनलिटी अगेंस्ट या क्रूएलिटी अगेंस्ट द एनिमल्स होता है, राइट. सो दीज आर टू वेरी, फेस्टिविटी एंड क्रूएलिटी अगेंस्ट एनिमल्स, ये दो कॉन्सेप्ट से हम इसको देख सकते हैं, राइट. उनके लिए it is a festival, right? For us it could be something else. So everything has a perspective. Now which perspective you have to see is what you can, just understand, right? So this was all about, the binary oppositions and all of that, okay. Then he collected a lot of raw data on the social experiences and examined many binary oppositions, okay. So he did this, he studied many cultures and the binary oppositions, and very important one more concept he gave about the social and statistical norms. Now this was a deviation from the topic, that social norms hote ek, and then there are statistical norms. For example, I'll give you don't lie, or lying is a bad thing, right? This is a social norm. That means we all believe that we should not lie, right? But do we lie in reality? Yes, we do, right? That means social norms कुछ भी हो सकते हैं. The reality is a lot different from that, ठीक है ना. So for example, there were many anthropologists and researchers who would go to different places and study different cultures. So there were many cultures जिनमें incest was a taboo. That means, of course, incest is a taboo, you should not do it. But then the statistical norm showed that a lot of them were indulging into incest, right? And ऐसे ही बहुत सारे examples they can be. So he said that we should not look at things with the social norms, because they are not the reality. The reality is statistical norms, and that is what we should, really look for, right? So this was one thing. Okay, so now then came the one important book of Edmund Leach, which was very important work of Edmund Leach. इसमें भी इन्होंने, he has shown the binary opposites. So I am telling you ना, methodologically, see, he tried to support Claude Lévi-Strauss's argument with a lot of evidence on binary oppositions. He did not give any theory as such, but again इनका work थोड़ा वही था. Then इनका बुक था पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम्स ऑफ हाईलैंड बर्मा. इन्होंने इसमें ही ट्राई टू स्टडी द पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम ऑफ बर्मा, एंड इट वाज अ स्टडी ऑन द काचिन ट्राइब, देयर सोशल स्ट्रक्चर. सो दे सॉ दैट दे वर हैविंग टू काइंड ऑफ पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम्स, गुमलाओ एंड गुमसा. इन दिस व्हाट हैपन्स इज ना, they will come periodically. That means one time there'll be Gumlao, then Gumsa, then Gumlao, then Gumsa, like that. So ऐसे चलता है. So Gumlao would be a lot like a, you can say, democratic, egalitarian kind of a political system, whereas Gumsa would be a lot like थोड़ा authoritarian, hierarchical structure. So these two are a lot different from each other, right? अब हम बोले इंडिया में एक टाइम पे egalitarian हो जाएगा and hierarchical हो जाएगा. It sounds weird, right? Because that's not possible to do. But then this shows the binary opposites, right? कि you are once having a egalitarian kind of political system, and उसी के बाद just after that you're having a hierarchical and then again egalitarian. So this shows how the mind of people can adapt, right? What is the duality of minds? ठीक है. So now let's do the evaluation of the whole school. So basically Edmund Leach, he was focusing more on the particular societies and their binary opposites and how to study them, all of that, whereas Strauss was giving a lot like a pan-human society theory, right? That there are binary opposites, there are universal factors that are common to man, which is the psychic unity and all of that, right? So evaluation में एक तो ये हो गया कि थोड़ा सा different थे, because he was talking about pan world and he was focused more on the society to society, right? But then evaluation mein you have to write certain good things about that. They connected the subject of psychology with anthropology, so it made it a more holistic subject, right? Because then you are trying to study the minds and how mind can affect the society, the structures around us. So it was a new idea, a new concept which tried to understand the society through binary opposition, the human brain. So it was a new idea, and they also countered the racism by refuting the savage mind concept in psychic unity, because what they were saying is savage mind, they were not talking about it, because they were saying there are psychic unity, there are certain characters which are universal everywhere, that is the binary opposition, and then they looked at those things. So what they were trying to tell was that people are similar, certain mental characters are similar. So they refuted that savage mind concept or all of that with the help of psychic unity and all of that, right? So this was the evaluation. And then the criticism would be that the school was static and ahistoric. That means it didn't look about the different cultures and how they evolved, their histories, वो सब इन्होंने ignore करा. And also static because everywhere you're just saying that there are similar mental characters, based on that certain structures are created in the mind. So that looks very static and not dynamic theory, right? इस पे you cannot build more on it, because then you're not looking at the diversities, right? The diversities, the cultural relativism aspect and all of that, right? So and there is no human individuality also involved, because when you talk about psychic unity hai, certain universal characters are there, so then there is no human individuality. Why any invention has happened, you're not looking at those very right kind of atmosphere for that, because inventions are not happens in a day. It needs that important environment, that right environment around it. So they were not looking at those human individualities. Then the cultural materialism jo abhi aage aayega with Marvin Harris and all, we'll study his ideas. But the term materialism sounds very like worldly, right? Materialism, materialistic aspect is very worldly, and when we talk about psychology or psyche, that becomes very like imaginative, abstract idea. ठीक है, ये totally tangible, this is totally intangible. So of course जब materialism का concept ही अलग होगा, right, because their theory was based on very tangible aspects and all of that, तो obviously उनका criticism तो रहेगा, because ये theory which is focusing more on the psychology would be very different from their ideas, right? Materialism के idea से different होगा. So they criticize it for more practical explanations. And then these ideas are not even open for scientific reasoning, right? Because psychology we can't see, it's not the same for everybody. The standards of measurement are not the same, right? So even that way, that it's not scientific. For every person, psychology is different, every person understanding is different, so you cannot compare, and you cannot compare scientifically. So these were some of the criticism evaluation of the school. I hope you guys liked it. Yes, tomorrow we will start a very very important topic, that is the culture personality school. They will further build upon what the ideas of Claude Lévi-Strauss only, because Claude Lévi-Strauss in a way was the first person who would connect the subject of psychology with anthropology. That means how human minds work and how these have shaped the societies and how societies have shaped human mind. So kahin na kahin the connection between psychology and anthropology was first done by Claude Lévi-Strauss, and then culture personality school will build a lot on it, right? So tomorrow we'll do that. It's a very important topic, very interesting topic. So please guys, do like, share and subscribe if you like it, and thank you so much.